And now we begin the study of number classification, which includes mostly the rational numbers and irrational numbers. And they are both part of the real number system. We will not cover complex numbers, so those are off of our list. Let's look first at the natural numbers, which are also called the counting numbers, and begin with 1, 2, 3, and go on to infinity. So this category includes numbers like that, or numbers that can be made into natural numbers. So the 2 and the 8 are obvious, but 9 can be made into 3, the square root of 9 into 3. And this number, 4 over 4, is actually 1. It can be made into a natural number. The next group of numbers would be called the whole numbers, and they include the natural numbers and 0, so they go 0, 1, 2, 3. Any number that can be made into a 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on is called a whole number. The next set of numbers would be called the integers, and they include the natural numbers and the whole numbers, and they begin with dot, 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 negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, so they go on to infinity, either to the left or right. Any number that can be made into an integer that looks like this is called an integer. So this number would divide into a negative 1. It would be also an integer. And these other numbers, negative 2 and negative 8, are obviously integers along with negative 1,000. The next category of numbers is called rational numbers. They're also part of the real numbers. And basically, those are fractions or any number that can be made into a fraction. So 0.75 can be made into 3/4. The square root of 9 can be made into a 3. 2/6 is already a fraction. 9/2 is already a fraction. 22.8 with 6, 7 repeating is approximately 22 87/100 as a fraction. All of these numbers can be made into fractions also by putting them over 1. I found another one, and this one's a fraction, and 00.25 can be made a fraction by putting the 0025 on top, a 1 on the bottom, and a 0 for every number on top, giving us 25 10,000ths. The number at the bottom here, 0.2 repeating, is really 2/9, and these are obvious fractions. I need to make an adjustment here. This is really 3 over 1 as a rational number. And while on that topic, any perfect square like 9 can be made into a rational number by solving it and putting it over 1. The next stop are the irrational numbers. And these cannot be made into fractions. You can look at this as the opposite half of the real numbers and directly opposed to the rational numbers who can be made into fractions. These include all the imperfect squares. When you square root them, you get an irrational number that never stops and never repeats. And here are some more examples of irrational numbers that never stop or repeat. If they never stop, you're never going to be able to divide them into a fraction. So these numbers all go on to infinity.